Have you ever sat across from someone who smiles while disrespecting you like they're testing how far they can push before you snap? Some people treat your kindness like a weakness, your time like it's disposable, and your boundaries like they're invisible. But not anymore. This isn't about losing your cool. It's about keeping your dignity and showing exactly where the line is drawn without saying a single word. Have you noticed how some people treat respect like it's optional? They interrupt you mid-sentence, toss out passive-aggressive remarks, or brush off your feelings like they're doing you a favor just by listening. You're left wondering, should I stay silent? Should I just let it go? Not today. If you're done tolerating people who don't value you, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to show you a powerful but calm way to respond to disrespect. No shouting, no arguing, and definitely no losing your self-respect. Just quiet strength. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set clear, firm boundaries without saying much at all. Let's dive in. Solution. #1. Embrace the silent stare. Have you ever tried using a silent stare? I know it sounds way too simple to be effective, but trust me, this is one of my favorite go-to strategies when dealing with rudeness or subtle disrespect. Why? Because silence unsettles people more than words ever could. When someone acts out hoping to get a rise out of youth, the last thing they expect is a calm, steady gaze. No reaction, no drama, just silence. They expect you to defend yourself, stumble through an explanation, or get flustered. That's the trap they want to pull you into. Their chaos. But when you meet them with nothing but eye contact and composed stillness, everything changes. You might be thinking, can just a look really make a difference? Let me tell you a real story. I was once at a family gathering, typical setup. Food, stories, laughter. But there was this one relative who made it his mission to criticize everything. The decorations, the food, the people. Nothing was safe. Eventually, he turned to me and made a disrespectful comment, sarcastic, sharp, the kind that makes everyone freeze for a second. Instead of clapping back or smiling awkwardly, I just looked at him, silent, expressionless, no anger, no words. Just a calm, steady stare, and it worked like magic. He fumbled, shifted in his seat, avoided eye contact, and most importantly, he didn't speak another disrespectful word for the rest of the night. That single moment without confrontations, the tone. He realized I wasn't someone who could be mocked or dismissed easily. That silent stare didn't just stop the behavior, it shifted the dynamic. He started treating me with more respect, not just that day, but long after. Sometimes the strongest way to protect your energy is to say absolutely nothing. When you meet someone's eyes with that unwavering gaze, you're not being aggressive. You're being clear. You're saying without words, see what you're doing, and I won't play your game. You're not shrinking. You're not explaining. You're claiming your peace. Most people who regularly disrespect others don't even realize they're doing it. They're so used to getting away with it that confrontation, especially silent confrontation, feels foreign. But when you refuse to react, when you mirror their behavior back to them with nothing but silence, it forces them to reflect. That's the hidden power of the silent stare. No yelling, no explaining, just presence. Because sometimes, the loudest boundary is the one you don't have to speak. Standing still, calm and composed doesn't just stop someone's rude behavior. It also reinforces your self-respect. Every time you hold your ground with a silent gaze, you remind yourself that their words and actions don't define you. They don't control your emotional state. I used to be the kind of person who would laugh off rude comments, or worse, try to explain myself to someone who clearly didn't care to understand. But each time I did that, I felt drained, like I was handing my energy over for free. Learning to simply look at someone and let silence do the work was a game changer. No shifting, no defending, just stillness. It felt like a quiet act of rebellion, a subtle but firm statement of self-worth. So, if someone is being rude, crossing a line, or trying to make you feel small, try it. Just meet their eyes. Let the calm weight of your silence hang in the air. You'll be amazed how quickly they become uncomfortable and how powerful you start to feel. The silent stare sends a powerful message. I respect myself too much to engage with your negativity. And that's a message worth sending. Solution 2. Let silence be your response. Have you ever realized that silence can be one of your most powerful weapons? When someone disrespects you, sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. I get it. Too might feel that staying silent seems passive, like you're letting them win. But the truth is, silence isn't weakness. Silence is a choice, a powerful one. When you choose not to engage with someone's negativity, you force them to sit with their own behavior. And in that silence, so much is said without saying a word. People who disrespect others are often expecting a reaction. They're hoping for an argument, a defense, or even just a hint of discomfort. That reaction gives them control. But when you stay silent, you're saying, "You don't get my energy." By not reacting, you maintain control of the situation. You're calmly communicating, "I'm not here to entertain your disrespect." And sometimes, the most powerful communication is no communication. I remember a friend of mine who loved to make little jokes that always crossed the line. You know the type, someone who hides insults behind humor and says, "Relax. It's just a joke." One day, he made a comment about my personal life. It wasn't funny. It was a clear jabment to get under my skin. Normally, I might have defended myself or clapped back, but not this time. I just looked at him, raised my eyebrows slightly, and said absolutely nothing. I let his words sit there, awkward and unanswered. The silence grew heavy. He shifted in his seat, mumbled something, and changed the subject. From that day on, he stopped pulling that nonsense with me. It was as if he finally understood I wasn't someone he could throw off balance anymore. That single moment, one look, 0 words did more than any argument ever could. When you choose silence in the face of disrespect, you strip that negativity of the one thing it needs most, your attention. Here's the deeper truth. When you choose silence, you are choosing yourself. You're saying, "My peace matters more than your opinion of me." And that's not just empowering, it's transformational. So often, we feel the pressure to respond, to explain ourselves, to defend our choices even to people who don't deserve an explanation. But when you choose silence, you refuse to play by their rules. You're holding your ground without raising your voice, without lifting a finger. Silence becomes your shield, a filter. It keeps your peace intact and blocks out the noise that others try to throw your way. The moment you stop feeling obligated to respond to every rude comment, every passive-aggressive dig, every toxic remark, you become free. You stop giving people access to your inner world. You start living on your own terms. And I'll be honest, learning to embrace silence wasn't easy for me at first. I used to think that if I didn't speak up, I'd seem weak or passive. But then, I started to realize something. Here's something interesting I learned the hard way. Every time I replied to someone who disrespected me, I walked away feeling drained. Like I had handed them a piece of my energy just for the sake of defending myself. But the moment I stopped engaging, when I let their comments pass by like background noise, felt something shift. Lighter, stronger, more grounded. It was as if every time I chose silence over reaction, I reclaimed a part of myself. And so now, I pass this challenge on to you. The next time someone disrespects you, take a deep breath, meet their eyes if you have to, and say, absolutely nothing. Let your silence speak for you. Let it hang in the air. Let them feel it. You might be surprised how uncomfortable it makes them and how liberated it makes you. So the next time it happens, don't rush to react. Let the silence be your message, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Solution 3. Stop explaining your choices now. Let us talk about something else that silently chips away at your confidence. The habit of over-explaining your personal decisions. Have you ever noticed that every time you make a choice, whether it's about your career, your relationships, your times, someone always wants to know, why did you do that? Why didn't you go to that event? Why would you leave a stable job? It's like people feel entitled to a full report on your life decisions, as if you owe them a press conference every time you choose differently. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. Your choices are yours. They don't need to be approved, reviewed, or justified. Now, I know this might go against what we were taught. After all, we've been conditioned to be polite, to be agreeable. But let's be honest, when someone questions your decisions, they're often not genuinely curious. They're judging. They're projecting. They want to make you second-guess yourself, so they can feel more secure in their own choices. And here's the best part. You don't have to play along. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment you take your power back. You're sending a clear signal. My life is not open for discussion. But why do people feel so entitled to your explanations in the first place? Often, it's because your courage threatens their comfort. Maybe you're making bold moves there, too afraid to make. Maybe you're stepping outside a box they still feel trapped inside. But just because your independence makes them uncomfortable, doesn't mean it's your job to ease that discomfort. Your life is not a community vote. It's not a group project. You don't owe the world an explanation for walking your own path. I still remember the time I left a stable job to follow something I truly cared about. A job that had all the right things: security, benefits, routine. But it wasn't me, so I left. And let me tell you, people reacted like I said I was flying to the moon. Why would you leave something stable? What if it doesn't work out? Are you sure you're not making a mistake? At first, I tried to explain. I talked about passion, purpose, freedom. But the more I explained, the more they questioned, and the more I started questioning myself. Then one day, someone asked, "Why are you doing this?" And I just said, "Because I want to." No long story, no defense. Just one simple truth. And it felt amazing, the silence that followed. Even better, because suddenly, they had nowhere to go. I had taken away their license to challenge my decision. And you know what? They eventually stopped asking. That's the beauty of not explaining yourself. It creates freedom. When you stand in your truth, knowing your decisions are valid simply because you made them, you stop wasting energy defending your life and start living it. There's a deeper lesson here. Your life does not need public approval. Not every decision needs to be broken down and analyzed. And when you stop explaining, you're saying something powerful. I am confident enough in my choices that I don't need your validation. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone truly confident give a PowerPoint presentation just to justify a personal decision? Probably never. Because people who are grounded in who they are don't ask for permission to be themselves. I've been there. I used to over-explain everything, laying out the whole timeline, the logic, the why behind every move to get others to approve. But eventually, I realized something important. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, some people still ignore your worth and your boundaries? Here's a hard truth. Not everyone deserves a front row seat. In your life, if someone repeatedly disrespects you, one of the most powerful and healthy things you can do is create distance. But creating distance doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you've become cold or arrogant. It simply means you are choosing to set a boundary over your time, your emotions, and your energy. Imagine your life as a private club with a strictly controlled entrance. Not everyone gets a VIP pass. So if someone keeps crossing your boundaries, leaving you drained or anxious, why are they still sitting in the front row? Creating space allows you to see things more clearly, without the fog of guilt or emotional manipulation. When you let disrespectful people stay close, it's like inviting them to an emotional buffet where they get to criticize, judge, and hurt you without ever paying the price. And then you wonder, why am I always exhausted, anxious, or disappointed in myself? Allowing yourself to create space from those people is an act of self-protection. It's how you protect your mental stability, preserve your peace, and make room for those who truly respect and uplift you. I still clearly remember someone I used to call a friend. They never missed a chance to throw in a sarcastic jab about my work, my relationships, even my taste in music. At first, I told myself they were just joking, or maybe I was overreacting. So I kept them close, tried to brush it off, convincing myself that it's not a big deal. But over time, those little comments started to weigh heavily. I realized I was constantly tense around them, like I was walking on eggshells, just waiting for the next insult. Until one day, I did something different. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation or a bold announcement. I just quietly created distance. Instead of seeing them weekly, I changed it to once a month. And you know what? I felt relieved, like I'd taken off an invisible burden with that space. I saw the truth more clearly, that friendship had been toxic for a long time, and I deserve friends who make me feel valued, not diminished, of course. Some people will say that creating distance is selfish. They might even say, but that's your family. Maybe you've known them for years. Maybe their family, or someone who used to be a close friend. And that's exactly why it feels uncomfortable, maybe even a little guilty, to admit that someone so close to you just isn't good for you anymore. Society teaches us to be loyal, forgiving, and endlessly kind. But how many times have you paid the price for that? Here's a quiet truth that most people won't tell you. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. You weren't put on this earth to be anyone's emotional punching bag. You're not here to constantly validate people who refuse to validate themselves. Sometimes, the strongest move you can make is simply to take a step back, because distance without drama, without shouting is its own kind of power. It silently says, I matter, my well-being matters. You don't have to keep playing the role others expect of you. You don't owe anyone access to your thoughts, your time, or your emotions. When you create space between yourself and those who don't respect you, you're not being mean. You're making a clear statement. My mental and emotional health comes first. And it's not just about self-care. That respectful distance also opens the door to something better, space to reconnect with the relationships that truly feed your soul, the people who uplift you, the ones who remind you of your worth without you having to prove it. Think about it for a second. The more time you spend with people who genuinely respect you, the more confident, grounded, and alive you feel. And the less time you spend with those who drain or belittle you, the less room they have to infect your thoughts, your mood, your energy. I used to feel guilty for distancing myself from people who treated me poorly. I'd ask myself, am I being too harsh? Am I overreacting? But over time, I realized something important. Creating distance isn't about shutting others out, about creating space for growth. So here's my challenge for you. Think about the people in your life who consistently cross boundaries, disrespect you, or leave you feeling small and exhausted. Then ask yourself this: do they really deserve that much access to your time, your heart, your life? Confidence disrupts their script. It throws off the story they've built in their minds, where you're supposed to shrink, submit, or seek their approval. When you don't play your part in their drama, it confuses them. And yes, sometimes that might make you a target. But here's the truth. Holding your head high isn't about them. It's about you. It's a reflection of your self-respect, a quiet declaration that you will not live life needing someone else's validation to feel worthy, because real self-worth isn't handed to you by the world, it's something you give to yourself. It's living as if you already have everything you need. And the truth is, you do. Holding your head high sends a powerful message. I am still worthy. No matter what you say or how you treat me, I will not lower myself. It reminds you that you are the main character in your own life. No one else's opinion should have the power to make you feel small. At first, I struggled with this. I used to avoid eye contact, bow my head, and play small just to avoid conflict. Criticism used to cut me deep. But the more I practiced holding my head high physically and mentally, the stronger I felt. Each time I refused to let their negativity enter my heart, I took back a piece of my power. I realized my worth isn't something others decided, something I carry within me. And here's the truth: holding your head high isn't just about your body posture. It's about your mindset. When you walk into a room, walk like you belong, because you do. Don't shrink to fit someone else's image of who you're supposed to be. If someone throws a rude comment your way, let it pass. Don't catch it. That negativity is more about them than it is about you. They're projecting their own insecurities. They're not truly seeing you. So the next time disrespect comes your way, pause. Take a deep breath. Roll back your shoulders. Lift your chin. And look them in the eye, not with anger, but with calm. As if to say, I see you, but your words don't define me. In that moment, you'll feel something shift, a quiet peace, a rising confidence, because their words have no weight unless you choose to carry them. Respect begins with you. The more you honor your own value, the less space there is for disrespect to stick to you. So stand tall. Own your worth. You deserve every ounce of confidence you carry. And now you've learned some of the strongest ways to deal with those who can't see your value. Life is too short to bend and twist just to fit into someone else's limited view of you. You don't need anyone's permission to stand tall. Protect your peace and live life your way. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe for more content about taking back control and building unstoppable confidence. And feel free to share this video with someone who might need a reminder to stand strong. Lastly, if you've ever had to deal with disrespect or had to set hard boundaries, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Until next time, stay strong, take care, and remember, respect always starts with you.